Journey with Judy.
Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect life. So come as you are, broken and scarred. Lift up your heart and be amazed and be changed by a perfect God.
Okay, so it's a sure sign if I'm crying before the intro, then I would be crying at the end of the intro. Thank you for choosing to journey with Judy this morning, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I live on Lake Geneva. I've lived here for about 10 years. I've been coming here for about 18 years, and I remember when I first started coming up here, I thought it was really neat, the amount of people that would spend their time enjoying walking on the lake path. And I now know that it's like 26 miles around and it'll take, 8 hours to walk it or something. And I'm really not, I don't set high goals for myself. I have no desire whatsoever to run or walk the entire lake path, run a marathon or anything like that. It's way too hard. I like to keep the bar really low and realistic. However, I've always been inspired or maybe even envious of people who commit themselves to doing stuff like that. And I would watch them and I would think, I'd like to do that someday. I kind of wanted what they had, the desire to do it, the willingness to do it, the commitment to do it. But I guess I didn't want it bad enough because for many years, I just kind of sat on the sidelines and watched them. And I thought, it's not that I can't. It's pretty much that I won't. And I used the excuse about like having kids. And I was, it's the only 2 days off I had during the week. And I don't want to waste my time exercising. Anyway, make a long story short, I started doing it a couple years ago. I started walking it slowly. Started to pick up the pace just a little bit. And ultimately, I got to a point where I could actually run for some period of time on the lake path. And here's the deal. For those of you who have never had the benefit of enjoying Lake Geneva's shoreline, besides the fact that it's just stunning, it's impossible to take in all of the beauty that it offers. Like I said, I've been here coming here for 18 years, and I still, every time I walk on the lake path, take a boat ride, or encounter it in any way, there's something that I hadn't seen before. Just some other aspect of beauty. And here's the deal about the lake path. It's not like a straight shot. There is like a lot of ups and downs, hills. You're in people's front lawns in many cases. And so some are rocky, some are grass, some are big pieces of tile. So anyway, you really got to pay attention to what you're doing. You have got to be aware of what lies before you. And, I'm the kind of girl who can barely walk and chew gum. So if I'm running on the lake path, it's very easy for me to stumble and fall unless I am absolutely paying attention. And so I'm most cognizant of that, like after a storm, after a really bad storm, or even like what people do when they sprinkle their lawn with, the sprinkling system. Everything's wet, so I have to be extra careful. So anyway, to make a long story short, the last 3 times I ran on the lake path, I was starting to feel more confident. Like I know the terrain. I'm getting like a lay of the land. I know what's going to, lying before me, and I'm pretty aware. 3 times, the last 3 times, I tripped in the same exact spot over this, like it was just a big piece of rock that was kind of jagged. And I tripped, and I am telling you that it took like 1 second for me to gain my, my footing again, or I would have face planted. And I thought to myself, okay, now if I fell, face planted, and I couldn't get up, now it's like 6 a.m. on a Saturday or Sunday morning, and there's not a lot of people out at that point. How long would I lay there before like my family came looking for me? I'm thinking they would be totally digging the silence and they probably would never come. But I will tell you that there was a time where I face planted and I didn't get up for 5 years. I'm going to tell you about that when we get back. You're listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. We'll be back. All right, so I'm totally digging Mandisa. Once again, reminding us that it is a good Sunday morning. And thanks for choosing to journey with Judy. As I tell you about the time when I face planted and stayed face down for 5 years. How could that happen? Well, when I fell in this pit, and let's determine what a pit is. A pit is simply 3 things. You can't stand, you feel stuck, or you have lost your vision. Been there, done that. And the reason that I stayed in that pit for as long as I stayed in that pit was because I was not part of a group of people that would come looking for me. We're going to talk this morning about the value of community, about being part of a group, about being part of something bigger than yourself. That would be my desire, certainly for my teenage children and my middle school children. It's definitely would be my desire for moms, couples, parents, women, men, seniors, you name it. You get people in a circle and it changes things. And here's the difference. The reason I like a circle versus a row is because you can't get out of a circle. As a matter of fact, when I went to church recently, I came in late, snuck in, and left early. Nobody noticed. Nobody came looking for me because you can totally sneak out of a row. But when you're in a circle, there's a sense of belonging and a sense of accountability. Small groups rock. I hope by the end of today's show, you will be willing to at least consider getting yourself in one because community is crucial. It says in the Word of God that trials and temptations are going to come. Period. End of story. It doesn't say maybe. It doesn't say once in a while. It says that it is inevitable. There are going to be things that trip you up, that cause you to face plant, and it's impossible to avoid them. So the question is, like when I was walking on the lake path, running on the lake path, I thought that I had the terrain. I thought that I knew what lied before me because I've been doing it for so long now. But we're talking about exactly that. Something you didn't see coming, you were even blindsided by it. And a trial and temptation could be anything that leads you to act contrary to proper action or a set of beliefs. A lot of times we find ourselves surrounding ourselves with people, and that because of the people that we're hanging with, we get a new sense of normal, something that we thought we would never talk about, participate in, even entertain before. When you surround yourself with people who do that, all of a sudden there's a new normal. When we have trials and temptations, do we run to God or from God? That's the question today. See, because we got to know that there's going to be trials and temptations. We got to know that we're going to be tripped up. And we got to know what we're going to do when that happens. So we don't lay face down in a pit for 5 minutes, or in my case, for 5 years. See, there's going to be things in your life that cause you to stumble in and out of your faith journey, question where God is, who God is, why you, it's so unfair. That's just all part of the journey of faith. That's why they call it a journey and not a destination. And here's the deal, when you're in situations like that, don't you totally not want to listen to your family? I mean, the people closest to you are the first to rub in everything that you could have avoided to be not stumbling, not face planting, not being tripped up. But you get in some community, and unlike your family who's rubbing it in, those people are rubbing it out. We are accountable to a group of people when it's a grace-based group of people. It's close to impossible to stumble out of one of those groups because they come looking for you. The wisest guy beside Jesus, you've heard me talk about this dude before, his name is Solomon. And he said, this is one of the guys who said, take my advice because I'm not using it. Even though he was really wise, he found himself doing this teaching after the fact to say, I didn't think I needed anyone. But now I know better because I tripped and I face planted and I don't want you to. And this principle or fundamental truth is very, very simple. Here's what he says. 2 are better than 1. True that. 2 are better than 1. You know why? Because they have a good return on their labor. He goes on to say, if either falls down, one can help the other. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help him up. There's never an instance where someone comes to myself or to Bob and I looking for something, and our response would be, are you in a group? Are you in a small group? Whether it's a group of couples, whether it's a group of married people, a parenting group, a mom's group. Because if you're not, you need to get in one. And the odds are if they were in one, they wouldn't come looking to us. Because clearly, we're like the blind leading the blind. We're clueless, we're hopeless, and we're helpless many days. But we definitely know that 2 are better than 1. And here's the thing is when we're in that place, the last thing we want to do is the thing that we need the most. This verse goes on to say that 1 may be overpowered. 2 can defend themselves. Because a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. You know, the translation of that verse just says like someone's going to help you out if they're there to help you. And that 2 can stand like back to back, shoulder to shoulder. Like it's so much better to have a partner than to go it alone. And we're pitying the one who has no one. And they had no one because they weren't connected to a small group. If you've ever been a part of a small group, you would attest to the fact that ordinary things become extraordinary when you're doing them with the right people. C.S. Lewis says those who enjoy and suffer something together are companions, but those who enjoy and suffer one another, not so much. So like I said, what you want least is what you end up needing the most. And here's the deal about the small group. You don't have to like it at first. You just have to do it. And you can never underestimate the power and the effect on a group of people. We're going to talk about 12 people who changed the world. One group for good and one group for ill when we get back. You are listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And thank you to the Cunis Country Auto Group for sponsoring today's show. We'll be back. Back and I'm crying already coming back from the break thinking about the words to that song. Community. We need it. We desperately need to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And the next best thing to being wise yourself, which remember Solomon was and he blew it, is to live in a circle of those who are. And you know, you can't underestimate the power of what a small group of people can accomplish. And we left for the break talking about 2 groups of people who accomplished great things. I'm going to remind you of the 12 guys in an upper room, how they changed the world forever when they came together in community. And I'm going to remind you about 12 guys in a training field that changed the world on September 11th, 2001. So the group you get with, it totally matters. And circles are so much better than rows. And it's all about feeling like you belong. And pity the one who doesn't have somebody. Because here's the deal, like, I'm of the mentality that more is always better. And in this case, it's so true. If one is good, then more is definitely better. And you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. My small group that I'm in right now is ending in 2 weeks. And there's a part of me that's so bummed. Because what they have done for me will be missed until we meet again. We'll take the the summer off. But what I love about that group is I've learned from them. They're like-minded people because they help me to live on purpose and with purpose. And that's what your small group should do. When you're with a small group of 2 or more, you got to have the same passions, the same pursuits, the same principles. And here's the deal. What draws you to those people is they want what you have. And you want what they have. They empower you. They energize you. They transform you from the inside out. And see, the circle that you're in, they're not there to stop you from freaking out. They're there to be there when you do. And when you face plant, you're laying down for 5 seconds, not 5 minutes, not 5 days, not 5 months or 5 years. Because they come looking for you. You know, you can easily step out of like an exercise group or a volleyball team or any of those type scenarios where you're in a group of people. It's so easy to say, oh, I had to work late. Oh, something came up. People who are living on purpose with passion for you and for your greater good, they don't let you just slip out of the row because you're part of a circle and they hold you accountable. I recently heard of some terminology that they use in the police force and firefighters, and I think any tactile, is that the word, Dave? Okay. Tactical, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The tactical units use, and it's called RIT. It stands for Rapid Intervention Team. And I'm totally digging that because that is so what we need as people of faith. And here's what this Rapid Intervention Team does. And P.S., that is so my prayer group on Thursday mornings. They stand on the outside and they are totally prepared just in case. In case something happens to one of their own. And in this case, they're just godly friends. Wanting more for you than sometimes you want for yourself, you feel you're capable of or deserving of. And see, unfortunately, we live in a culture that has mistaken significance with independence and subservience with weakness. But here's the deal. Let's go back to what Jesus said, and he said, come follow me. Because 2 is always better than 1. And when you're in a small group, your life is better. My life is better in community with these people. Community is unity. And let's not mistake unity for sameness. These are all very different people with different gifts and talents because they're all part of the body of Christ and all of them bring something different. But the common element or the common thing that they are rooted and grounded in is the gospel message. It's about healing and hope and wholeness. They want that for themselves, and so they desperately want it for you. That's what makes it better than your girls' night out group. That's what makes it better than your summer softball league. That's what makes it better than any group that you're a part of that you could easily step out of. Because I know I have those groups too, and they're awesome, and they serve a great purpose in my life for fellowship. But I can tell you that they're not fostering my faith, and they're definitely not facilitating my formation. I don't study the Word of God with them. I don't feel supported by them, and I certainly don't have a mission to serve my community with them. It doesn't make them any less. It just makes them different. And, you know, we are relational to the core. So whether you think you need this or not, the fact is you do. And you don't have to like it. You just have to do it. The 2 small groups that have most profoundly impacted my life is the marriage ministry that Bob and I have been privileged to be a part of. And P.S., it's all broken people. This is not about people who are happily married. This is about people who are broken and scarred. And know that, like, there's no such thing as perfect people or perfect marriages. And they choose every day to fight for the commitment of better and worstest. And the other group is the Ministry of Mothers Sharing that I've been part of. A lot of moms coming together, small groups at a time, sharing their experience, strength, and hope with other moms so they don't feel alone. Life totally takes on new meaning when you're in community. Remember, there's unity in community, and there's so many advantages. They're endless because two are better than one. They have a good return and a godly return, a good return on their labor. If one falls down, the other picks them up. But you got to pity the one who falls and has no one to help them. Carrying the message is mandatory in word, in thought, and in deed. It's the 12-step to every 12-step program. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we practice these principles in all of our affairs. There is something for everyone outside of those 12-step meetings to apply to their life today. Those people change the world one person at a time, just like Jesus. And they, like us, we got to grasp that concept that two are better than one. Thanks for choosing to journey with Judy this morning. Our journey is slowly coming to a close, but we're going to wrap it up when we return. You are listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. Okay, so I beg you, I plead with you, I pray for you to get in a group that is rooted in prayer and grounded in the life and mission of Jesus Christ. And that's just a grace-based community of people. Because two are better than one. And when trials and tribulations come, you got to have someone to pick you up when you face plant. Because two are better than one. More is better. And community is unity. That's it for today. Stay tuned. Nancy and Faith are next with Life Matters. And this week, keep it hot, honest, open, and transparent. Why do I always cry when I say that? Peace out.